Welcome to Canal Lanes in Southampton, Massachusetts for the first round match in the Western New England Tour event uh, here on April 3rd. This match is going to feature Brian Mayer on the right lane versus Aaron Spiller on the left lane. Brian Mayer starts out with a 9 drop, as does Aaron Spiller. Brian's got the 10 pin with some bunch of wood in front of it, and he has no problem taking that out. Aaron's got the 5 pin, and he is all over that. So matching spares. Brian qualified, I think he qualified 5th, and Aaron Spiller qualified 4th, but it might be the other way around. Anyhow, Brian drops 7 on the spare, leaving the 1-2-10 with a piece of wood that looks pretty good. But he hits it a little bit too full, so doesn't get anything over to get the 10 box, at the 10 pin. And Aaron had a 5 drop, leaving a big 5, and took out the 2-4-7. So it's going to be a 9 box for Brian Mayer and a 10 for Aaron Spiller. So Brian has a 1 pin lead after 2, 26-25. Brian Mayer is probably a familiar sight to most of you because he's a regular. The Western New England Tour is kind of like an ATM for him. He shows up and picks up his check, and he's won several of these tournaments and cashed a great number of times. He's got 9 and has the 7 pin, and he's got it. Meanwhile, Aaron has the 9-10 with a piece of wood at an angle, and he's got it. He sweeps the 9-10. Let's take another look at that spare by Aaron Spiller. You can see he sweeps that that angled wood over to take out the 9-10. So Aaron has 35 with a ball after 3, and Brian Mayer has 36. And Brian drops 9 again. This time he leaves the 4 pin. Aaron hits solid in the 1-3 pocket, but only takes out 6. He's got the 5, 7, 9, 10 with a couple of pieces of wood that are somewhat promising. He might be able to use that wood on the right and to sweep the 5, 9 over into the 7 and have the ball take out the 10. Let's see if he can do it. Meanwhile, Brian Mayer misses the 4 pin. And I think Aaron went a little bit too high on that wood, so it didn't cut over into the 7 pin. So it's a pair of 9 boxes, and after 4, Brian Mayer leads 54-50. And in the 5th box, Brian drops 9 again. He's got the 10 pin. And Aaron Spiller drops 8. He's got the 7-9 with 2 or 3 pieces of wood down there that might make it possible to convert the spare. Maybe get the ball to go over and take the 7. See what he can do with it. Meanwhile, Brian Mayer looking at the 10 pin, and Brian converts the 10. Aaron doesn't convert the 7-9. He got the 9, but he just wasn't able to get anything to go over and get the 7. So he will settle for a 9 box, and after 5, Brian Mayer has 64 with a ball working, a spare up in the 5th, and Aaron Spiller has 59. Brian Mayer, as you probably know, was a member of the USA East. Oh, and there's a strike by Brian Mayer. Let's take another look at it. You can see he kind of skip lobs the ball several feet down the lane, but it still hits high flush in the 1-3 pocket and puts all 10 pins on the deck pretty quickly. Brian is a member of the USA East team that won the World Candlepin Team Invitational Tournament in Bangor, Maine last November. And meanwhile, Aaron converted that 4 horseman, and you can see how. He hit the outside, but got a lot of sidewall action and took it down. So Aaron has 69 with a spare up in the 6th, and Brian has 84 with a strike up in the 6th. Aaron drops 6. And Brian drops 7. Yeah, Brian... Oh, Aaron's got the spare. He kicks it off the wall. Very light hit on the 3, but it came off the wall and took out the 5-pin. Oh, and a nice bid by Brian on that 1-3-8 spare, but he just caught the head pin a little bit light on the left side and wasn't quite able to take the 3-pin. And he converts it for a 10. So Brian Mayer has 103 through 7 as we look at the spare by Aaron Spiller once again. And Aaron has 85 with a spare up. So he is he's kind of in the hole here. He needs to put a good fill on the spare. And that's not really what he wanted. He only got 4, so it's still a 14-pin lead for Brian Mayer. And there is another strike. Let's take a look at the replay. Again, high flush in the 1-3 pocket, and this time the 4 is the last one to go. And Brian set that one down much smoother than the other one. So he's really putting the screws to Aaron Spiller at this point, putting a lot of pressure on him. And Aaron comes a little too full on the head pin to convert the spare, but makes a nice shot for the 10. So he's got 99 through 8. Brian Mayer with 113 with a strike up in the 8th. So he's leading by 14 plus whatever he gets on his next 2 balls in the 9th frame. And there is a strike by Aaron Spiller. Very light hit in the 1-2 pocket, but a lot of sidewall action. Let's take another look. And you will see the ball hits the 1-2 pocket. Head pin goes to the sideboard and basically collapses the entire right side. One of the other pins came off the left sidewall, so that's a light hit. And he carries the strike. Meanwhile, Brian Mayer hit the head pin, but punched out the spread eagle. And filling out the strike, he's got 6, giving him 119. So Brian has momentarily has a 20-pin lead, 119 to 99 through 8. But of course, Aaron Spiller is going to be working on that strike that he had in the 9th. So Brian fills out his 9th, and he's got an 8. So he has 127 through 9. And Aaron Spiller has 109 plus 2 balls. And there is another strike. That's really going to tighten it up. Let's take another look at this. Again, you're going to see 1-2 pocket, but a little bit better hit, a little more solid in the pocket. And again, terrific sidewall action there. And that's a double strike for Aaron Spiller in the 9th and 10th. That's really going to tighten it up. Let's see if Brian Mayer has an answer. Well, that's a pretty good answer right there. That's a strike. Again, high flush in the 1-3 pocket. Let's take a look at it again. And Brian once again rises to the occasion, really smashes the 1-3 pocket. And that's almost a carbon copy of the strike he had in the 8th. So he has 137 with 2 balls in the 10th. And Aaron Spiller is looking for a triple strike. And he hits solid in the 1. That's probably the best of the 3 shots, and it's the one that didn't carry. He leaves the 5-pin. But that gives him 9 and 128. So he's leading 128 to 27 through 9. And then of course they both have strikes up in the... And so that means that if Aaron is able to make this 5-pin, he will shut out Brian Mayer, and he does with a 148, which means that the best Brian can do is 147, and if he takes down the 124. And so this is a terrific way to get the match play started off. So it's the final score is Aaron Spiller 148, Brian Mayer 147, and Aaron moves on to the next round.